This video is brought to you by the Farmer Klein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Farming Simulator 22 Map First Impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Landersum. But before that, this video is brought to you by Jolly Rancher and UTB. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Landersum map can be found over at the farmingsimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu. And as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for PC players only. Now, one reason I believe this is a PC player only map is because it is a 4X map, which means that the total land area is 4 times the size of a traditional farm sim map. In addition to that, we also have multi-terrain angle enabled on the map, and to date, we have yet to see either a 4X map or a map with multi-terrain angle be released and stay released on the Mod Hub for console players. Let me read you a little bit of the description. Welcome to Landersum. Welcome to Münsterland. In large parts of Münsterland, the typical Münsterland park landscape is often small-scale agricultural structures that has been preserved to this day. The Münsterland is characterized by large parts of arable farming. A total of 305,000 hectares of land are used for arable farming. This corresponds to 86% of the total agricultural area used. In addition, with its dairy, beef, pork production, Münsterland is one of the most efficient processing regions on Earth. This map is a 4X map with 241 fields, 255 viable farmlands, 1,226 areas of field size, or 1,226 hectares of total field area. The average field size is 5 hectares in size. There are 14 viable farms, 2 biogas plants. This map includes realistic seed usage and realistic yields. It has increased fruit density as well as multi-terrain angle, adjusted precision farming values, and extended stubble destruction. Now, this map does have 9 required mods. So when you download the map, you'll also need to download those mods. Those mods include the bunker silo, the cow shed pack, the Dutch contractor shed pack, the Dutch pig shed, the Dutch shed pack. Then we have the fuel station, as well as the machinery shed, modern shed, and old farm package. In addition to those 9 required mods, we are going to use the mods that we typically use when we take a look at maps. That is additional field info, additional game settings, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. Now, I will tell you, if you load this map up in farm manager mode or start from scratch, you'll find a few discrepancies as compared to what you're going to find here in this video because we are loading up in new farmer mode. What you're going to find is 1, you do not own any land in those alternate play modes. 2, while the farms are completely built out, all 14 farms are going to appear exactly how you're going to see them here in new farm mode. You do not own any machinery in the alternate play modes. So do be aware, you will need to buy machinery as well as your farmland with your starting bank balance. Now, this map will take a little while to load on in because there are a lot of buildings to pull up and get ready for rendering. Now, when you do load into the map, we start out here actually at Farm 11. Now, one of the things you're going to notice here is that we have 1 through 14 all numbered over here on the side. They are also all named. Then we have 15 through 20. The 15 through 20 are various points of interest and sell points that are available on the map. This map does include all of the standard crop types available to us in Farm Sim 22. And if we take a look at the lands area, you'll see that we start out by owning farmland ID 241, which is Farm 11. And it is 2.58 acres in size, $156,525 to buy. In addition to that, we own farmland ID 62, 152, 165, 169, 191, 192, and 193. That is in new farmer mode. Now, there are 13 other farms available on this map. Let's go ahead and take a look at those. We have Farm 3, which is up here at Farmland ID 247. That can be bought for $1,080,000. Now, if you come over here to Farm 20, interesting enough, Farm 20 is tied also to Farms 15, 16, and then Area 19. And it is buyable for $2,659,000. Now, I'm not really sure why when I click here on 8, we don't get it to come up. It is a biogas plant. I do believe that the land will appear owned once you actually purchase the biogas plant. Then we have farm number 2, which is farmland ID 256. That is buyable for $745,000. We have farm ID 10, which is up in the extreme northeast corner of the map. It is 7.5 acres and buyable for $546,000. We have Farm 1, which is farmland ID 245, 5.32 acres in size, $516,000. We have Farmland 6, or Farm 6, which is farmland ID 94, 22.65 acres in size, $549,000. We have Farm 13 right beside that at farmland 253. That is 5.56 acres in size, $809,000. We have Farm 7, which is farmland ID 243, which is 4.35 acres in size, $211,000. We have Farm ID 9, which is farmland ID 250. It is 3.6 acres in size and $262,000 to buy. We have Farm 14, which is farmland ID 254, 7.33 acres, and is just over $1 million at $1,068,000. We have Farm 4, which is farmland ID 248, and it is just to the north and west of our starting farm. It is 2.5 acres and $295,000. We have just south of that Farm 12 at farmland ID 252, 5.72 acres in size, $832,000 to buy. We have, if we haven't already gone over it, Farm 13, which is farmland ID 253, which is 5.56, $809,000. Farm 6, yeah, we've already covered Farm 6. We've already covered Farm 7. We've covered Farm 5. Nope. Farm 5 is farmland ID 249, and it is 29 acres in size, and it can be bought for $2,884,000. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at all of the farm lands that are available on this particular map. And we're going to be using the farmland lease screen to do that. That's going to show us all of the farmlands, how large the farmlands are, if the farmlands include any fields, which field or fields are included, then how much that farmland is going to cost. As we can see overall, for the most part, the farmlands and the fields are lining up, which is very, very convenient. So you can quickly then cross-reference the field with the farmland with the price fairly quickly, but that will change as we get further up in this list. Of course, at any point in time, you can pause this video or slow it down to then have a better look at this screen should you so wish. Now you see, once we get up here to 238, then we start having farmlands that do not have any fields. And then we have 247, which is field 241, and farmland 249, which includes field 240. With that said, let's go ahead and take a look at our field calculator screen. The field calculator screen is going to show us specifically the field number and the field sizes, as opposed to the farmland sizes, which we previously took a look at, because we all know that the farmlands and the actual field sizes that are associated with those farmlands can differ. Once again, at any point in time, you could pause the video, slow it down, or speed it up. You want to go ahead and skip this section entirely. Let's go ahead and take a look at our precision farming soil map. Now, what you'll see here is to the north, west, and south, we have a lot of loamy sand and sandy loam. Then toward the middle of the map, we have a good mix of loam and silty clay. We do have a custom crop counter available to us here on this particular map. Doesn't look like we really have the ability to double crop too terrible much, but we do have a custom crop counter. Taking a look at our prices screen, we actually do not have the ability to sell all of our base game crops, production items, and animal outputs, because for whatever reason, we do not have cotton, nor do we have sugarcane available on this map. Now, it may be that this map is planned for a realistic portrayal of agriculture of the area. Maybe they don't grow cotton. Maybe they don't grow sugarcane. They probably don't grow sugarcane in that region. But since it is available to be planted, since it is on the crop calendar, then the player could potentially put it down, and I would like to see the ability to sell those items without the player having to invest their own money in putting down a sell point. We do have the ability to sell eggs, wool, and milk. Additionally, we have the ability to sell silage, hay, straw, and grass. Now, when we get down here to our production items, once again, we do have the ability to to sell most of the base game production, but we don't have the ability to sell everything. Oddly enough, we do not have the ability to sell planks, even though we have a sawmill on the map that produces planks. Now, one might say, well, the map author is encouraging you to make furniture. There's no carpentry shop built into the map, so if you're going to do anything with the planks, you then have to also invest in a carpentry shop in order to further process your planks, or once again, put down your own sell point to allow you to sell something that you can create on the map with no other mods needed. We do have the ability to buy bulk lime. We do not have the ability to sell our stones. So if you do want to play with stones enabled, you will need to put down your own stone buy point. Now, as far as platinum expansion, this map does not include any ability to sell the platinum expansion production items. So if you do wish to use platinum expansion on this particular map, you would need to put down your own sell point. Those of you that are playing with pumps and hoses, do note that you will be able to sell your separated manure. Now, we do start out with a decent list of starting equipment. All of it is new. None of it is leased. As far as animals, we have 2 cow barns on the starting map. Now, here in a little bit, I will be buying all 14 of the farms. And if you happen to be absolutely insane and own all 14 farms on this map, you will have a total of 34 animal pens to potentially keep up with. They will be mixed with cow barns, pig barns, as well as sheep areas. This map does have contracts available, and we do not own any production chains at the start, nor do we have any collectibles. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. Start out with the Fendt Fabric 515C small tractor. We have a John Deere 7810 medium tractor. We do not actually own a harvester. Very rarely do we see starting equipment where we do not own a harvester at the start, but here we have one right here. We have Brantner trailers. We have the DD24073/2XXL and the Z18051/2XXL PowerFlex trailers. We have the Agrimaz PO5 XL plow. We have the Torino 3FX cultivator, the Nordstein HK25 NS3030 Power Harrow and Seeder combo. We have the Amazon 4500 2C Super Planter. We have the Hardy Mega 1200L fertilizer and herbicide sprayer. We then have the Amazon ZATS 3200 fertilize spreader. We have the FarmTech 1550 slurry tanker. And we have the GMD 4411 side mower. We have the GF 8712 tedder. We have the Top 4 342 windrower. We have the Kloss Roland 455 RC Uniwrap round baler wrapper combo. We have the Silo King TMR mixer. We have the Q4M front loader arms. For those front loader arms, we have the pallet fork, universal bucket, and a bale spike. And then we round it all out with a 900 kilogram John Deere weight and a 600 kilogram generic weight. Now, with respect to vehicles and modded implements, we do not have any of those here on this map because we are not seeing anything listed in the mods and DLCs page. Wow. Let's go ahead and take a look around our starting farm. So we start out here at our farmhouse. Let's just jump over here to the side. We have our sleep trigger right here. We'll get back to where we jumped in at. We have some of our machinery stored inside of here. One of our cow barns is located right here. We have I believe this is going to be a milk point. A little bit of a guess because we don't have a lot of clues there. Side here we have our food trough and our straw trigger. On the other side of the cow barn, we have then our oh, come on. I was able to get through here earlier. There we go. We have our animal drop-off point. 70 cows in this building. Then we have our slurry point located right there. Let's head back on in here, and then we have another barn just like the first. Our proposed milk point. Then on the other side of the building, we have our slurry point and our cow drop-off area. And once again, we're going to have 70 cows at this farm in that building. So total 140 cows here. Got some sheds for our machinery. Now, with respect to can the farm, or should I say farms, be customizable? They are kind of, but not fully. So we can sell all the buildings on all the farms. Not that big of a deal. There's a few random houses right next to the farms that we can't sell, but they're technically not farmhouses because they don't have a sleep trigger. But we can sell all of the buildings on all of the farms. We can also get rid of hedges. We can get rid of fences. We can get rid of lampposts. But what we cannot get rid of are decorative items. Like that. Like those. Like these racks of wood. Any decorative item is going to remain on the farms. And that is going to greatly reduce one's ability to customize the farm areas. That also is going to hold true for the BGAs when we get around to taking a look at the map with our fly around. And speaking of that, let's go ahead and just buy all of the farm lands now. That way, when we do our fly around, we'll be able to see where all of the various triggers are located. So let's take a look around. So the map predominantly is fairly flat. I wouldn't say it's completely flat, but it is fairly flat with respect to the undulations of the fields. And one thing you will notice is as we do our flyovers, you will see periodically power towers running across the fields. The power towers that I have tested have collisions enabled on them. So do know that if you are working in a field that has power towers like these directly in front of us, you will need to work around those, or your hired help will be avoiding those and you'll have to come through later and clean things up. So here we have our starting farm. And I think what we'll do is just kind of loop our way up here to the east and then kind of loop our way around south to the west, and then back to the north. So here we have one of the 2 biogas plants that are available on this map. And I have tested that you can indeed sell the BGA. You can sell the bunkers. You can sell the buildings at the BGAs. You can sell the lampposts. Again, you can sell the hedges that may be here at the BGA. But what you cannot get rid of are the various decorative elements around the BGA. And that will somewhat impact your ability to customize this, should you so wish. But with pumps and hoses, you do have a bit of flexibility. So I don't think it's going to restrict you too terrible much. Over here we have Farm 1, and this is predominantly an arable farm. Let's make our way over here to the next farm. I believe this may be a farm. It may be a set of sell points. It's hard to tell with the density of all of these hotspots. Here we have another player farm. And we're going to be hitting all of these player farms during the drive around. So we're not going to have to pay too close attention to what is available on each at this point in time. Now here we're going to have a player farm to the left, player farm directly in front of us, and then a set of sell points to the right. We have another player farm here. And again, you can sell all of the buildings on all of the player farms for the most part, but you cannot get rid of the decorative elements. Here we have another farm. Then we have a series of sell points here to buy manure. We can buy and sell. We can sell sugar beets here. We can sell sugar beet cut. We can sell potatoes. We can sell grain. We have a buy point for slurry. And as I said, we have a buy point for manure. Our starting farm is directly in front of us through that tree line. So we are just going to kind of turn to the left a little bit and make our way down just south of field 189. This map, I mean, pretty clearly is going to be ideal for multiplayer for several reasons. One, you've got 14 different farms for your players to pick. Two, you have an abundance of viable fields. So it's going to take a while for all of the fields, if they ever do get fully bought and you're farming the entire map with your multiplayer team. So here we have quite a few. I believe these are going to be pig buildings at this particular farm. Now, with respect to production, this map has 3 production items built in. We have 2 BGAs and we have a sawmill. And as I've already mentioned, the sawmill is obviously going to produce planks, but for whatever reason, we do not have the ability to sell planks on this map. So if you do own the sawmill, you will have to do one of 2 things. You have to either put your own sell point down to sell the planks that you are able to produce, or you're going to have to put down a carpentry shop to then further process those planks into furniture, at which time then you can actually sell your output. In addition, remember, we do not have the ability to sell cotton or sugarcane on this map. So we are going to give the map a full point with respect to production being built in or areas set aside for such. We're going to give the map 3/4 of a point with respect to the ability to sell all of our base game crops, production items, or animal outputs, because we do not have the ability to sell cotton, we do not have the ability to sell sugarcane, nor do we have the ability to sell planks. All of which we have the ability to grow and or produce. With respect to, can the farms be customized? The farms can indeed be customized to an extent. And the fact that the buildings can be sold Fences can be taken down. Lampposts can be gotten rid of. But decorative elements are permanently embedded on the map. So that is going to somewhat affect your ability to customize any one particular farm or BGA for that fact. So we are going to give the map just 3/4 of a point for that particular scoring metric. Now we'll wait until we get around to the drive around portion to cover the last 2 scoring metrics. But, I mean, you've already seen the thumbnail, so you kind of already know what this map is going to score. It's hard to believe that we have maybe seen just over half of the available farms at this point. Which means we have probably at least 4 more farms to look at. Making our way up the western side of the map to the northwest. And again, fields with these power towers. The towers do have collisions. Hired helpers will avoid them. If you are using Courseplay, you will have to use the Islands feature to detect those and work around them. Here we have the second BGA that is available on the map. Again, you can sell all the buildings. You can sell the BGA components themselves. But the decorative elements are going to remain. We have some more sell points. The dealer is just to that direction, so we're going to skip that for now. Yet another player farm. Now, I'd say if the map has any one real particular fault, it's going to be that the farms are all very, very reminiscent of each other. They're all a little bit, I don't know if I should say cookie cutter, but they all look so similar that it would be nice to see a bit more variety between the different farm areas. Now, if you are going to be playing this map, and you are one that likes to put your own animal pins down, you will need to make sure that you activate the additional animal pins mod that is available on the Giants Mod Hub, because you do have, like I said, 34 animal pins pre-placed on the map. That is about 3 times the limit that the base game is going to put on you. And I believe even with the more animal pins mod, I think the limit might be 48 or 64. It's one of those two. So here is the sawmill. Again, we do have the ability to produce planks, but we don't have the ability to get rid of those planks without putting your own sell point down. Some more sell points. Then all the way up here in the extreme northeast corner of the map, we have the final player farm. Someone who wants to be on multiplayer but really doesn't want to interact with anybody. This is going to be the farm for you, because you are way, way up here. So far away from just about anyone and everything. Now I'm going to go ahead and make my way back to the vehicle dealer. That's where we're going to buy our Mahindra. And then we're going to do our drive around. So there is something to note about the dealer here. And that is that for whatever reason, the dealer does not have an actual dealer trigger, or dealer maintenance trigger. So we do have our dealer trigger. We can buy vehicles by coming up to the dealer, just like this. But as far as maintenance goes, if we are someone that wants to repaint our vehicles, well, we are going to be in some sorry state, because we have a vehicle workshop trigger here. This is going to be for repairing and customizing, but not repainting or selling. And the trigger is actually inside of here. It is not marked with the typical hash indicators. Now we have 2 other maintenance triggers here at the shop, so maybe one of those is a dealer trigger. Let's check. Nope. Vehicle workshop. Once again, customize and repair. Well, we got one more chance. One more chance. I wonder what this one does. Nope. Vehicle workshop. Pretty much, there you go. So, you are going to be limited to selling your vehicles from the shop menu. And, well, as far as repainting goes, you're going to have to put something down. Kind of disappointing. Kind of depressing. But at any rate, we've got a decent area here for vehicles to spawn in at. So that's good to see because we do have, well, some pretty good sized fields on this map. Now, one thing to question is how big of an area do we have to get out of here? And how wide are the roads with respect to transporting large machinery? So the gate isn't that narrow, but you will want to be cautious for anything. I would say probably wider than 8 meters trying to get through there that's not folded. And with respect to the roads here, well, they're not super narrow, at least this one isn't. You do want to see, do these posts have collisions? They do not, so we don't have to worry about those being right along the field or the road edge. Now, let's make our way to our very first point of interest. It's going to be a set of sell points. What we're going to find here is that inside these sheds, we're probably going to find some dump points. So we have a bale sell point inside of this one. Inside of here, we have a lime buy point. Or is this solid fertilizer? This looks like solid fertilizer. And this looks like lime. So we have lime and solid fertilizer buy points. We have a grain and dump station. We have potatoes. We have sugar beets. And that should be pretty much everything at this cell complex. Yeah, we'll make our way over here to what I believe would be the first player farm of our driving tour. Oh no, this is the BGA. The second BGA that is on the map. Oh my lord, are you the slowest gate we've seen? Candidate for opening the gates and leaving them open. I agree. So we have several silage bunkers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bunkers. We've got a maintenance trigger. Lots of area to store our vehicles and implements. We have our dump point for a BGA. We have our interactive icon. We have our dump point for a slurry. Our pickup point for our digestate. We have fuel over here. Does the fuel trigger have any fuel in it? No. The fuel tank is empty at the start. So that is the first BGA that we're going to come across. And remember, these decorative elements, they're going to remain even though we can sell the bunkers and we can sell the BGA itself. Now, with respect to buildings, we appropriately are using the new texture technique as well as the ground textures. We're going to give the map 3/4 of a point there as well. The majority of these buildings are using the new texturing technique as best I can tell, but there are some that are not on the map. So we are going to do 3/4 of a point there. When we get to our next destination, I do want to take a look at the build mode. Given the fact that we have 9 required mods, we're going to have quite a few additions to the build mode. Then we can also take a look at our ground textures. I feel like we maybe have missed an entrance here. No, I haven't missed the entrance. It's way around the corner. Okay. Well, let's drive around the corner. And while we drive around the corner, I'll be curious to know if you guys, if you would be interested in doing a multiplayer on this map. I think it would be pretty good for a 5, 6, 7 multiplayer. Definitely have enough farms. Now, what we found with some of our multiplayer servers is after you get about 5 or 6 people on, especially if they have a pretty decent vehicle and implement loadout of their own farms, you're going to find it kind of difficult when everyone is on at the same time, because the game will get a little laggy. That's just because there's so much going on, so many textures to be drawn and kept up with. So the fact that we've got 14 farms, I wouldn't really spend too much time imagining having 14 players all on the map at the same time, one at each farm, because it just doesn't feel like the game engine is able to keep up with that if you have truly 14 people on the map all doing field work all at the same time. In our experience, the game is going to get a little bit laggy. But 5 players at once, that seems to work out pretty good. So here we have our first player farm that we're going to look at during the driving portion. We've already seen these cow barns, so they hold 70 cows apiece. We know where those triggers are located. We have another repair shop trigger located right here. And we have 3 bunkers for silage. We have another vehicle workshop trigger. Another large storage shed, and then we have our sleep trigger at this farm. We actually have a second farmhouse here. I don't know if we can actually get over here, but we do. Right there. That said, we'll go ahead and take a look at build mode. In our sheds, we have a multitude of modded sheds that are available because of the various shed packs. In addition, we do have a few custom things like our motorized gate. I'm not really sure why they're in the sheds area. But anyway, right, we have a motorized gate. We then have a machinery shed and another shed that is a part of the map. Silos, we've got some bunker silos that are, again, part of the required mods. We have farm storage, silo building, silo extensions. We've got a modified fuel tanker. Then we have some various farmhouses that are, again, part of the required mod packages. No production points, no sell points, greenhouses, orchards, or generators. We've got a multitude of modified animal pens, mostly from the required mod section. We've got standard decos. And then under landscaping, we've got decent listing of ground textures. Let's go ahead and put some of those down and take a closer look at them. So we have our animal mud. We have French animal mud. Then we have US animal mud. Then we have asphalt. Then we have another asphalt. I was starting to wonder if we were going to get animal mud from all three base games. We have cobblestone. We have new cobblestone. We have concrete tiles. We have concrete bricks. We then have dirt. We have grass. We have grass dirt. We have gravel. We have gravel dirt. We have gravel grass. We have asphalt again. We have more dirt. Or dirty, dirty people. Then we have US wet mud. As far as plants go, it looks like we've got fairly standard FS22 plants and standard FS22 trees. So not a bad collection of paintable ground textures. That's for sure. Now, it's not like that one map that we took a look at recently that had, oh my gosh, like 30 paintable ground textures. That segment just went on forever. But still, respectable nonetheless. All right, as we go over to our second player farm of the drive around, let's do a little in-cab driving. Get a little bit of a perspective what it's like from within the vehicle. Now this lane is kind of narrow with that fence there. So you may have, depending on your farm selection, a difficult time with larger machinery that doesn't fold up so well. I suspect that farm is going to be pretty hot demand given its close proximity to the vehicle shop. Since the vehicle shop is right there. Now we're going to make our way over to the farm that's by field 33 and 34. And then while we're at it, we'll do the points of interest up by field 2. The farm at the extreme northeast. And then we'll make our way down the eastern side of the map to check out all of the other farms and sell points. You know, the 4X map is a great map for drivers. People that like to drive around, well, these are the types of maps that are going to work for you because it really is going to take you some time to get from point A to point B. Oh gosh, this video is going to be 10 minutes longer just because all these gates. So here we have a predominantly pig farm. We got our slurry point. We have our food trigger. We do have some silage bunkers still. Then at each of these pig buildings, we're going to hold 300 pigs. So we got 1, 2, 3. So that's 900 pigs at this farm alone. Another vehicle workshop trigger. And remember, we can sell the building, but all of this stuff is going to remain. It doesn't go away with the building. And another trigger. And we have our fuel point for the farm, and that's it. Maybe not. Let's get some sheep down here. 25 sheep. We have our wool point. We have our food trough. And that should be it. So this farm has 3 pig areas and 1 sheep area. Oh, darn sticky keys. Tell you, during autumn, this map should look pretty good with all of these trees lining the roads. I mean, okay. Potatoes, good. I was worried there that was cotton. I'm like, oh, look, the AI is planting crops that can't even grow. Can't even get rid of. There you go. You can have yourself a 1,200 hectares of potatoes if you planted all of these fields in potatoes. That might be too much of a challenge for any one individual. Dun 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 dun. Sometime next week. We have a working scale. Here we have a sell point for wood chips. As well as a bale sell point. Always remember to look in the buildings, because there may be sell points inside of sheds. I thought that road might take me around to the sawmill. I was mistaken. Which is pretty easy to be done. There's only so much I'm going to remember between the initial reconnaissance of a map and the recording of these videos. Narrow road coming back here to the sawmill. Oh, the people door is faster than the fence or the gate. So we have our wood cell trigger. We have our wood cell icon. We have our pallet spawn point for the planks. Then we have our interactive trigger in the concrete there. That is the sawmill. Now let's figure out how to get to the farm to the east. We're going to have to go all the way down to the main road and then take the next right. This map's going to feel like it's a whole lot bigger than 4X based on how the road network is set up. You're going to have to do a lot of doubling back and going the wrong way in order to eventually get the right direction. It's always interesting on how a road network can really change the feel of a map. If you've got a map that's got a simple ring road that from any direction you can get anywhere on the map, you don't have to really worry about things, the map's going to feel smaller than if you had a road layout that didn't connect. So if you were, let's say, on the west, you had to drive to the north, then you had to drive east, then you had to drive south, and then maybe you have to drive west again just to get to something that, the way the birds fly, is right around the corner. One power slide later. Field. Here's the road. Sir, here's the road. You want to call it that? This looks like it may be somewhat narrow for large implements. So play with large implements at your own risk or discretion. Large roads with care. Now we are seeing fields that have fences along those. Let's go ahead and look. So we own all the lands. Can I get rid of these fences? I can indeed. So if you're someone that doesn't like fences right along the field edge, and you own the field, it looks like you will be able to sell those fences. Or maybe more appropriately, if you are struggling to get in or out of a field because of a narrow gap in the fence, then you can clearly take some fence down and expand that out quite a bit. So we have a fuel depot. Then the rest is pretty much just arable buildings. And I would think for the most part, we've already seen all of these buildings already. So opening up any of the doors is probably a little bit of a futile exercise. Alright, let's make our way down the eastern edge of the map. So if I had more time, I think I would venture a play on this map. Possibly multiplayer with 4 or 5 other folks. Not a lot of production going on, and that's fine. We can get back to our agricultural roots, if you will, with Farm Sim. Focusing purely on agriculture and animal husbandry. Speaking of animal husbandry, when we get to the next farm, I will pull up the master list of all the animal pens. You can see how long that list is. It took me a while to count the list because as I scrolled, I was losing track of where I was on the list. And yet another player farm. And this is one of the farms where we have this house here, which is not sellable. But the rest of these farm buildings are. Another arable farm here. So as I promised, let's take a look at that master list of animals. So we see we have cow barn, 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 pig, pigs, 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 cows, 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 sheep, pigs, 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 pig, 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 cow, 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 pig, cow, 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 pig, cow, pig. So just one sheep pen amongst this large array of cows and pigs. And then we have the second BGA. And again, we can sell all of the buildings and bunkers here, but decorative elements are going to remain. We have our digestate, we have our dump for slurry, we have our interactive trigger, and we have our digester. We have several silage bunkers, 2 there, 4 over here. Lots of storage for vehicles and machinery. Let's make our way across the center of the map. We might find our way going past our starting farm. We have some custom ground textures here. It's nice to see. Is this fertilized ground? Possibly? which way to go. Once again, narrow roads. So in here we have multiple sell points. We have a bale sell point. Inside of here, we have sell point for sugar beet cut. We have a sell point for potatoes. On the back, we have a buy point for slurry. So it looks like a buy and sell point for slurry. We have a grain sell point. And then inside of here, we have a buy point for solid fertilizer and a buy point for lime. Sell point for sugar beets and a sell point for potatoes. That should close out that area. Diagonal from there, we have another player farm. This one is pigs for the most part. So we've seen this before. Slurry. We have our food. We have our pigs on the other side. We have our milk. We've seen this. We have our food trough for our cows. We have a cow buy point, 70 cows there, 300 pigs there. Another cow shed there, another 70 there. Now, the trigger is hidden in here. This is another cow area. But the trigger is hidden with the deco elements. So another 70 cows there. So we got, what, 3 cow buildings and a pig building here at this farm. Maintenance trigger. And we'll make our way to yet another player farm. This is for someone that wants to live out in the country but feel like they're in the city because they're right around the corner from another farmer. So here we have what looks like maybe a different building. Or maybe we just have a storage tank for a milk this time. Food trough, straw trigger, silage bunkers. Yeah, this is a different building. Fuel. 140 pig or cows in that building. There's another silage bunker. And I bet we're back to our 70 for here. Yep. And then it really looks like there's a missing building here. Not sure what's going on there. We've got all the required mods loaded in. There we are, another player farm, like we've said that. Broken record. Here we have our storage silo. So we have our dump and fill points. Fuel trigger, we do have sleep triggers at this farm. Multiple sleep triggers. I believe this may be the farm that actually has 3 farmhouses all in one little area. Then we have our 300 pigs. We have what, 170 cows. Another 300 pigs. 70 cows, 70. Pair of silage bunkers. We'll make our way west. Go west, young man. So I think while we're over here, let's go ahead and just wrap up the scoring discussion. Player and interactive areas being clearly marked. We are once again, I'm going to get the map, 3/4 of a point. Because we do have distinctive areas where we do not have things clearly marked. I feel like we've already been to that farm, so we'll just head on down the highway. So what we're going to do is we're going to give this map a score of 4 out of 5 as a result. You know, other than production being built in an area set aside for such, where we gave the map a full point, we deducted a little bit from each other metric because we couldn't sell cotton, we couldn't sell sugarcane or planks, even though we could grow those crops and make that production output. We gave the map 3/4 of a point because the decorative elements at all 14 farms couldn't be sold, but we could sell all of the buildings, so that played a good measure in helping pad that score a little bit. We've got a lot of buildings on the map, but they're not all using the new texturing technique as best as I can determine. So we took off again 1/4 of a point there. And then there's areas, all of these maintenance triggers, and maybe I could have put a little bit more weight on the lack of maintenance triggers, but at any rate, the various maintenance triggers that we are missing as far as indicators go, the yellow and black hashes on the ground, that is where the interactive areas not being quite clearly marked is going to come into play. My gosh, how do I even get over there? Oh, there's a road up here. We're just gonna go a little rogue here. .212, pretty good sized field here. Here we are. There's just so much on this map. So many roads and so many ways, or not lack of ways to get places. really makes it's really making this a long video. So here we go. This is rather interesting farm setup. We got a silage bunker straight here right off the road. We've got 300 pigs. We got another 300 pigs. We got 900 pigs again at this farm. We've got cows here somewhere because we have so many silage bunkers. It's 3. Apparently not. We are all pigs here, but we have 3 silage bunkers. We got a farmhouse sleep trigger. Just a few more points of interest. I feel maybe we've skipped the farm or two. Pretty easy to do when you got 14 of them, I think. And we've already looked at that second BGA. Again, we've already talked about the fields and the fences next to the fields. Silage bunkers. We have 1, 2, 3 cow areas right here that are evident. Farmhouse. I would say this would be a sheep area, but we know that there's only 1 sheep pen on the map. There we go. And I'm sure these are 70 a piece. Looks like it to me. I know this map is going to appeal to players who are not super heavy into Farm Sim 22's production features. While this map could have a ton of production, given its physical size, I think it is holding true to its agricultural heritage with respect to the area for which this map is emulating. And as such, we've got pretty minimal production going on here, and a big concentration on agriculture. And here we have another good-sized pig and cow farm. Once again, 3 pig areas, 300 pigs apiece. Cow, pig, cow farm there. Ah, that's a nice animal dealer trigger. Okay, here, there's our animal dealer. I was going to say maybe these are not actual animal areas, but they are indeed. a little of a difficult layout for someone that wants to transport their animals. That's for sure. And we'll make our way down here to the final point of interest. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with me through this marathon of a map video. 14 farms, 4X map. There is a lot to see, a lot to talk about. And then our final farm. Got our farmhouse. We've got our cows. 1, 2, 3, 4 cow areas here. Multiple silage bunkers all over the place. I think you could easily enjoy some fairly good-sized animal husbandry farming here on this map. Let me know your thoughts once again down in the comments below. I kind of dig these maps. I like them. Again, you get the sense that there's something missing here. And until next time, happy farming.